Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It's been a while since I've done this live thing. What is up, my guys? What is up, my team? Good to see everybody here in the chat. Good to see you guys here. My goodness, I feel pretty good coming along on the live situation, man, and looking at the broader markets. What, Sebastian Lim, my dude, thank you so much for all you do for me, man. Mark Roach, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Of course, we can look at some tickers, man. We can look at all these things. Let's find out what the next play is going to be. Man, Aiden Davis, what's up, man? Good to see you here. What is up? What is up? What is up? Guys, there is a crazy, I don't know what to call it, man. Mark Roach can tell you. It looks like a sandstorm outside or something, man. It's windy as all hell out there, but it's all good. It's all good. I hope that the internet connectivity doesn't actually, diminish here because of all that wind. But it's looking pretty good. And guys, I actually have to be very honest with you. Today has been such a tough day, right? So I think my son may actually be back to normal now that he's kind of normalizing that the iron is creating like severe constipation on the little guy, right? So I think he may be back to normal today. So he actually had a huge amount of energy, right? And I was rocking him, for his nap time, and he took He took I'd say about 2 hours to go down for his nap, and I had to cut it down to only a 30-minute nap, right? So it pushed all of my schedule way up there. So, I mean, way, way late, right? So this is kind of why I came on here to see if we can actually just take advantage of the night, right? And kind of look over our plays for tomorrow. But I do have kind of a new layout to look at the tickers, right? As this is kind of the way that I've been scanning the markets and putting together these pretty cool plays. Right, you guys? So, yeah, not a problem. Of course, we can look at some tickers. So now Sebastian Lim is saying, dude, thank you so much for your donos, bro. That really means a lot, dude. So now you're looking at MVLA, QBTS, and EEIQ, right? Dude, that's I can't say that I've heard of any of those tickers. And but I mean, dude, I believe you, man. I believe you. You're in all of the three. Sebastian Lim, you're way aggressive, my dude. So Aiden Davis saying NVOS stopped out a couple. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm curious over that too. I wasn't able to put out the video on that. You know what? I can just kind of put it together in this. This is what I mean by the new layout, right? So this is something called my master layout, and this is where I have all my tools kind of allocated into just one area, right? And this has been a pretty useful way to look at my scans for the market, right? And also, I think this could be a pretty good addition to the future live streaming thing that I'm going to be doing, right, you guys? So yeah, actually, let me just kind of give it a quick little gander here and see what's up with it, man, because I know that we had, right, so this is in regards, guys, you know what, now that you're here, I know that the chat is not absolutely full, but you'll be able to see exactly the play that I actually put up for the Discord members, right? So please go ahead and notice here what it is, right? So if we were, let me go to the daily chart and see what the good deal is here, right? So I got stopped out of this. Okay, so our stop loss was actually set to 1441, and it closed, of course, right at the entry of the 1501 where we looked at, right? So 1502. Very, very curious. All right, so let's see if this thing is actually still pivoted towards any type of upside. So we want to look at the earlier time frames, right? So yeah, this is going to make things a lot faster this way, right? So 30-minute, we always want to see that downside, right? We always want to see if we can kind of gain a type of entry within that. Let's see the bi-hourly time frame and see if it has also a downside, or actually it doesn't. We actually have diminishing bear pressure, and we have stochastics favoring an upside soon, coming off of critical expansion, right? So this, damn. I didn't expect it to actually have that. So that could have been the shakeout that people were kind of waiting for, right? Increasing volatility here on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see if it has any opportunities, right? Let's see if NVOS can actually make its it's moved to the upside. So it would actually have to lay on the hourly and the bi-hourly, okay? So these time frames here are suggesting a potential bleed of momentum into the further time frames, right? So what I mean by that is actually, you see this, let me show you the hourly, right? So the hourly time frame has that upside pivot on stochastic momentum. You want that hourly time frame to bleed into the bi-hourly, right? Into the bi-hourly stochastic, and then you want the bi-hourly to bleed into the 4 hours. So we're going to know more information upon the pre-market tonight, or I'm sorry, the early pre-market, right? The European sessions. I want to see what happens then, and then we'd be able to really understand what's happening, because the 4-hour time frame, guys, the 6-hour time frame, and the 8-hour time frames essentially invalidated our long positions, right? The good thing is that we're still using the 6-hour. I'm sorry, I don't want to use that actually. The Gaussian channel, guys, if you do use the Gaussian channel, do not use it on anything under an 8-hour, okay? And it's not for that, okay? It's usually used for 8-hour and above, as I do know that I have some of my members using that now, okay? So please notice here on the 8-hour time frame, we came back and tested on that shakeout perfectly to that mean band, right? So from that test to the upside, that could have been the shakeout, right, for long positions, and now we're suggesting a continuation to the upside. But keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens in the morning, and we'll touch bases on this again on the following day, okay, you guys? So let's see. Actually, I put up a video for the SPY, okay, you guys? I put up a dedicated video for that because that is showing some serious downside, okay, you guys? So I want to be just very, very clear about what I'm seeing here, okay? So first of all, I am using the Gaussian channel on the SPY as well, and that's kind of what's giving us that hint, okay? So first of all, there is a top side that we should look at, okay? So if I'm gonna be very honest with you, I see a resistance coming up between $413.35 to $416, of which this would be that entry for a potential, let's just call it, between you and me right now, we're gonna call it, what's up, Philip? Good morning to you, man. Dips Patel, Lil AR-15, what's up, guys? Good to see you all here. So let's just call that our paper trade, right? Because I do have that the paper trading account activated here on TradingView, right? So let's just call it that, right? So if we were gonna practice our put options, right, this would be the zone where I would kind of look at for entry, right? So that would be between the areas of about 413.31 to about 415.96. Okay, so I honestly see this upside happening right away. The 30-minute immediate short-term time frame RSI is suggesting that, okay? This is broader market, okay, you guys? So we're looking at an upside pivot. That is going to be our validator for the option entry, right? Let me just get rid of the Gaussian channel here so that we can see it a little clearer, right? So let's look at the bi-hourly time frame for the SPY. But if you are curious about this, I put a very detailed video together that I just released about literally when I started streaming. Okay, so there, the bi-hourly time frame is suggesting the downside. Okay, so I realize that we still have upside pivots on the bi-hourly, but I'm not trusting that, you guys. I do see an immediate upside before a rejection and a continuation to the downside. If we start looking at the volume profile on the daily time frame, then we can actually see that there is, man, okay, yeah, here's that gap, right? This is the daily time frame gap that I wanted to talk to you guys about, right? So it does have 412.91 at the top side of that, but I would really have to favor 413.32 to 415.96 as that top side resistance. If we do surpass that resistance, there is one more area to look at, right? But if you're looking at betting against the markets, then setting a stop loss at around this level here for the paper trading account at 421.31, that would be the area to kind of just forget the short thesis or the bear thesis and look for a better entry, right, you guys? But that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at very, very bearish, a very, very bearish setup here for the SPY. And if I can be as clear as I can be, I'm looking at a target between 403.85 and 406. Okay, so 406 would be essentially that area to get over, right? So please notice the Gaussian channel here on the daily suggesting that 404.82, right? So discretionarily, I would say 403.85, but Gaussian channel, it tends to be pretty precise at 404.97. So this would be essentially that bottom side to look out for, guys. Okay, so that's gonna pretty much do it for the SPY. Wait for the pullback, right? Wait for the area of validation before a continuation to the downside for your put options. Make sure that you know what implied volatility is. Please make sure to know what your open interest is, okay? Be aware of what your Greeks are, okay? Me personally, I don't tend to look at the Vega aspect of the Greeks, right? I tend to look at only my delta, the gamma. I look at not even rho, actually. So I look at the theta, right? So those three metrics are very critically important for me, at least in my personal experience, right? I don't have the greatest experience in options, guys, but I would like for you to understand what those metrics are, okay, you guys? It's very, very important for you to know what those things are. Just definitely know that, okay, you guys? So another thing to kind of give us that bearish news is this. Please notice that the volume profile is on a descent here as the price action is leading towards an upside. That usually is kind of a hint that price action can lead to the downside. So broader markets are looking pretty bearish to me. Also, notice this here. Volatility versus momentum on the bi-daily time frame, suggesting a downside with stochastic momentum and expanding volatility. I mean, and getting the first bar here on the bi-daily time frame, guys. This is we have the disbursement of returns right now. This is outgoing cash, okay? So meaning outbound disbursement, that's negative, okay, you guys? Look at this. Look at the DMI support for the bears. We're starting to cross the bulls here, and we've dropped all the way to a market trend of 11% for the bulls. So this is probably going to start increasing as the bears try to take over, right, you guys? So please keep an eye on the broader markets, because there could be a pretty interesting opportunity there to either short our paper trade or or long the put. Right, so yeah, let's just go ahead and kind of finish off that thing there. And yeah, dude, actually, you know what? I'm curious, Sebastian. Let's look at some of those, dude. So you're looking at MVLA. Let's see it, man. What if we have a play? Dude, I know. I still have to respond to you in the DMs, right, dude? So I've been actually, just trying to get things together here with my son, right? As he's just presenting some very difficult times, right? But it's all good. It's all good. Look at this. On ticker symbol MVLA, we actually got a very, very accurate bounce from that mean band on the Gaussian channel before a continuation to the upside. Huge volume to the upside here as well. So let's just see if this actually has an opportunity to make a pretty nice upside move, right? So I'm already liking this here. Please notice that this is a corrective move happening here, and it's also, in a sense, let me just make this kind of bigger, right? Just like this. So this is trend line regression that you're looking at here, something like this, right? And also we can perceive it to be like this too, right? So in case we want to use the combination between the EMA3 and the SMA14, right? That could be a pretty good way to look at it too. So yeah, we could be facing a bounce pretty soon before a continuation to the upside. We're at critical volatility too, so that's looking pretty spicy, if I do say so myself, right? Also notice here, 12-hour time frame MACD is actually showing an increase of bull pressure here, so there is a pretty nice situation happening here. Let's see if the profile meets, though. If you guys are curious over how exactly I look at these things, thanks for that, Sebastian. So just real quick to actually show you what he means by that is that you see this green candle here. Let me get rid of the I have to talk to you about the Gaussian channel here too. Okay, so yeah, this is what he's talking about daily engulfing, is that this is an iteration here of a bullish engulfing candle structure on the daily time frame. So my master students do know that I look at candle structures only starting from the 8-hour and above. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work in anywhere else. I'm just saying that candles have a higher hit rate when they are presented in the daily time frame. I'm talking about structures like this and signals like the hammer candle and all that stuff, right? So upper time frames usually tends to be a pretty good place to look at candle analysis, right? MACD is showing that massive upside here. We're getting the stochastic momentum versus money flow index in the disbursement of returns are definitely incoming That's cash coming in, right? Upside pivot on the stochastics while at a bullish control zone with maxed out volatility. Guys, this is definitely suggesting a potential continuation to the upside, but just like always, right? We want to look at the immediate short-term time first. Okay, so now I wanted to speak to you about the daily time frame Gaussian channel here, right? Because we did get a daily closure upside of this mean band. So that can already give us a hint. Okay, so what is that hint in particular? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just draw a trend line right over here. We have a potential pullback to around 231. Okay, so now if we're gonna make that a range, which is always something that we should do, we should actually see what this candle wick high has in comparison to historical price action, right? So let's do it like this, just like this, and then we'll take it back and see if it matches anything else. Of course, it matches the closing of this candle, the opening of this candle here, right? The wick top of this candle. And I am not even going to lie to you, there could be even some type of geometric target that is leading the way there, right? So I'm going to take it right before these large candles started printing. We're going to take a regular fib right from this area right here, right? So let's go ahead and do that right now. So just like this here to the bottom end of that range, and let's see what we have, right? So already suggesting for us to drop within the three spot 272 at 228, right? So this is very confluent, guys, and please notice here that we are currently trying to make that 3 spot 618 into a support, but the Gaussian channel is located right over here, you guys. So we definitely have some pretty interesting areas of support first. Now, the way we proceed is actually looking at the shorter time frames. We want a downside. We want to look for a downside, okay? So do we have it? Do we have a downside in the immediate short term? Well, it looks like we may actually have one. This is showing some weakness, but we have an upside pivot. So let's look at the 15-minute. 15-minute, okay, we do have a little bit of bearish action happening right over here, you guys. Let's not mind the Gaussian channel there, okay? We should not do that. We have a little bit of a downside bias on that stochastic momentum with decreasing volatility in the immediate short-term time frame. Look at the MACD showing us some red bars. That's what we want. Okay, we want the immediate short-term time frame to show downside first so that we can understand that we do have an upside. What's up, Lockup? Good to see you here, my dude. Good to see you. Mahalo to you. All right, dude. So, yes, we're looking for that downside, okay? We want the downside first to know that we have a long probability before we can get that rip to the upside, right? So let's look for that potential. 15-minute is showing us that downside. Let's see what the bi-hourly is kind of telling us. Okay, so the bi-hourly, we're getting that stochastic upside pivot, guys. Critical volatility. We have upside on the RSI and also on the MACD. Okay, so that area there, you guys, that would be the start of the cascading effect. Meaning that from the bi-hourly, the 4 hours should be pivoted towards the upside on stochastics as well. We have that upside pivot there, good. 6 hours should be as well. There it is. We should have the 8 hour a little bit under that too. There it is. See? So we have that cascading effect. This is absolutely a good setup. Thank you so much, Sebastian Lim, for, yeah, definitely another one, Aiden. Oh, my goodness, dude. He always comes by and says, what's up? Lockup. He's right there, man. I forget what island you're on, Lockup. Can you let me know where you are, brother? Because I know Aiden Davis right below you. He's actually in Oahu. All right, so anyway, you guys, so yeah, now we know what that potential is, right? So we do have a downside coming in. Let's pull up our moving averages and see if we can gain some type of an idea over what can be seen as far as, I'm going to make this a play, actually. So in respects to Sebastian, I'm going to make this a play in Discord, and we're going to put it up officially tonight, right? So let's just go ahead and take a look at that. So the averages are what we want to see, but since we don't have anything closer, I do want to display the exponentials. Bad R, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Yeah, I'll try to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and just continue on the analysis here because we're trying to find tomorrow's plays so we can get some gains, right? So let's do that. Going back to the EMA 20, located at about $2.10, confluent with the bottom side of this range here. That's our spot. Okay, so around there is what we want to do. So the EMA period 9 and a 20, that would be around that area right there. Okay, so I'm gonna make a range of this and suggest the bottom side of this red candle right over here. Why? Because of all of these other candles right at that body there too. Okay, so you want to find the confluent areas, right? So this would be our long target, right? And then if you are, say for example, the paper trade is going to be entry $2, you want to make sure that you can actually measure to the downside what that stop loss is going to be. Okay, we have the SMA 100 located right down here, and I want to see if it's actually, okay, 7% away. That's good. That means that this is likely going to stop right around these candles here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that could be. 6.27 is still too aggressive. It's still too much of a wide stop loss for me. So I'm going to have to go ahead and favor the in between this range here. This top side candle and this top side of the body here, they have a very close relationship, right? As well as this candle top here. So that is going to give us, let's see, about a 4% stop loss. So that would be around the area where I would consider stopping out, regardless if the price action goes to the upside or not. I do not care. Okay, you guys, because I will not play the downside. I will not diamond hand. I will not hold anything. If it doesn't play the move, I'm out. Okay, so this is literally how I'm doing it. Okay, this is how I put the plays together. All right, the next area that we have to look at, guys, would be the take profit zones, right? So remember, we're talking about the paper trading right here, right? So you can even see right over here that this is the transport window where we can get the take profit zone, stop loss, the whole group order put together. We have the order book right over here, right, you guys? It's looking good. All right, so let's measure that. If we were to gain entry from that area of about $2, let's see what this area looks like. All right, coming back to the top side of the range where we're looking at 225, that's a 12.37 return, guys. Come on, that is something that not a lot of people make in a day. Okay, so this is to the top side of the range that we're looking at, 15.69% to the upside. Come on. This is looking very good. That price action there, guys, could lead to a very nice opportunity to the upside, and I'm not even saying that that's where it can stop, because we obviously have a resistance level located at 244. Now, if we start looking at the upper time frames, like the 12-hour, you'll likely start to see upper targets. Like for example, this zone here. Let me get the averages out of the way so they don't distract us so much. This zone right up here, where all these candles are, right? All this area right here. Take a look to the right. Take a look to the right where the 4.618 is. That's at 264. That's now another area of resistance that we can take into account. So this would likely be the swing play, the swing play resistance range, right? Just like this. That would be the top side of the targets that we're looking at. Range number 1 right here. Range number 2 right over here. And even if we want to swing play it a little further, we have to mind our momentum, our volatility. We have to mind to see how we're moving on that day, right? And then we can consider other targets, right? Which could be right over here at about 288. But we're going to leave these in. Good job, Sebastian Lim. Very, very, very good job in finding this ticker. This definitely has an opportunity to get long. So please, if you can, do you still have, are you actually still a moderator in Discord, or is it just here? I was going to ask you if you can just put up the watch list, right? Because we can do this, man. So for sure, we want to take a look at that ticker, MVLA. Okay, so now I want to give Mark a little shot here too, because you also have, Mark, which one do you want me to look at first, bro? You want to see GCT or VVPR? I know you asked for that like a while ago, so I want to make sure that we can look at least one of those. What is the good deal, my bro? Let me get one in there so we can see what's up. So Aiden Davis is asking, Arca, do you use your own Gaussian channel, or do you use one by TradingView? So I think it's a community indicator. So if you go to indicators, right, and you search right over here, Gaussian, let's see who's it by, is actually by Donovan Wall. It has around 4,553 users. So yeah, I'm using just a community script, right? Somebody else wrote it. As a lot of people tend to use the Gaussian channel more for in Bitcoin and stuff, but it's a statistical indicator, right? It can be used in anything. Yeah, not a problem, bro. So yeah, Mark, let's see what's up with GCT. Is there news coming out on that, or what's the real deal here? GCT. Let's see what's up, dude. Wow, huge pump to the upside. That could have flashed all kinds of momentum to an upside. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so remember, guys, this is the master layout, right? So if you are curious over what I have in this master layout, I have an RSI, we have the volatility, right? BBWP representing volatility, stochastic momentum, I have a MACD, I have a DMI, right, with an ADX built in, which is the trending market indicator versus who's leading, right? DMI will just it's a directional movement index. It just tells you if the direction is actually favoring bulls or bears, right? So now, and the last indicator that I have, guys, is actually known as the SMI MFI. So that's stochastic momentum versus money flow. Okay, you guys. So that's really all that I kind of have in my arsenal here, and I don't always use all of them. Right, so if you are curious as to what I have in these areas here, then I just have my moving averages. I have my algo, the reversion variant, which is actually Bollinger Bands versus mean, right, or regression, right? So that's and then I have the Gaussian channel, right? I have my algo, the substance indicator, and then also another iteration of Gaussian. Okay, so that's about all that I see. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and take a look. Monster Mike, what is up, my dude? It's so good to see you, and thank you so much for your dono, my dude. That really does mean a great deal to me and my family, my brother. Let's see if we can get some play. So, Monster Mike, I don't know if you were already here before, but the ticker that we looked at right prior to this one is looking pretty nice for an exercise, right? That's going to be ticker symbol MVLA, and that's going to be me and Sebastian putting it up tonight in the Discord as a play, okay, my dude? So that is looking mighty, mighty spicy, and there could very well be an upside continuation with actually as soon as tomorrow, maybe even. Okay, so I really I encourage you to kind of look at what we just talked about maybe around 10 minutes ago. I stopped around 2 or 3 minutes ago, but you know, it was around 10 minutes long. So yeah, GCT, let's see what's up, you guys. So we want to find, first of all, I look at the 4 hour aside from the daily, right? So I just want the daily time frame to give us an overall picture, right? So what I mean by that is if I'm looking at the daily time frame, I want to see the entire trading history of it, right? Let's just see what the shape of the price action looks like. So this actually has a lot of promise, okay? So this is GigaCloud Technologies. I remember GCT was actually something a lot of people were looking forward to at IPO, right? So this was a very, very impulsive move to the upside. So now, as you can see here, it has had some pretty drastic moves to the upside, and of which, let's just see how far up it went this one time, right? So wow, oh wow, okay, so that is over 100% move to the upside. This thing absolutely has potential to make some pretty interesting moves, okay, you guys? So that's what I just look at from the daily. But when I want to gain, when I want to see what the juice has, right? So Mark Roach, yes, thank you guys. Please notice here that Mark Roach just posted up the fundamental news behind it, right? So GCT net income was 15.9 million. Read from there, guys, okay? So this is very kind for Mark to share with us. Okay, you guys, so that's what I look for on the daily. Next, let's look at the 4 hour time frame to see if we have an upside pivot on volatility versus momentum. In this case, we have a downside, okay? So this means that there could be a downside to look at even still, okay? So going down the time frames, the buy hourly is still suggesting a little bit of a downside, but please notice how it's already kind of corrective. Okay, another thing to notice here is that the buying pressure is diminishing, all right? So let's go ahead and jump into the hourly and see what's going on there. Okay, so the hourly is starting to show like there could be a floor found soon-ish. Okay, so the 30-minute time frame does have that upside pivot. Does that mean that we're catching it early? I don't know, but this is literally the trade, right? We have to kind of we have to use our shorter time frames to see if they can cascade into each other, right? So we want the 30-minute time frame to have this upside pivot, right? Or a downside in the 15-minute. We don't want the downside to be shown on the 6 hour though. See how we have a downside in the 6 hour? That just means that the short-term trade, I'm a short-term trader, guys. I'm not an investor, okay? So that just means that the short-term trade is not there yet. We need to wait for a continuation to the downside so that we can find that absolute support, okay? So we have the downside pivot on the 6 hour. That means that the upside already played out throughout this entire time. Okay, so that means now that we are at a reaccumulation phase / distribution. Okay, so this is literally accumulation, and distribute. Okay, so notice how the 6 hour time frame, however, The RSI is right at that, the SMA 14 is right in that gravitational zone too. Could it be that we have a limited downside here? Well, those signals are the ones that we need. 8-hour time frame also showing that there could be limited downside too. Another thing to notice here is that there is a regression to the upside on stochastics. This is looking promising too. Okay, you guys, so let's go to the 12-hour and see. Okay, the 12-hour does have that downside pivot. We also have that upside pivot on the RSI. I understand this. Okay, so now I can already see the drives of bearish divergence, but it looks temporary. Okay, let's go to the daily time frame and see how far away we are. Daily time frame still suggesting the upside, but that's only because it hasn't seen the after hours, the post-market trade. 12-hour is showing a 694 close at post-market. Traditional close was 796. Okay, you guys, obviously we have a big gap over here. So the fact that we're getting a downside pivot on the shorter time frames is suggesting to close that daily gap. Okay, so now we have our support. Let's go ahead and draw it in just like this. Okay, from the top side of that gap, right? We can take into consideration two areas. Okay, first of all, this top side, these wicks right over here, these tweezer tops, right? That would be an area to look out for, right? Let me just go ahead and make sure that we can extend this to the right, just like that. And then we have to mark off the bottom end of the gap, okay? Because that's going to be obviously another area to kind of look at, right? Just like this, we take into consideration the space between this and the top side of this wick here with the body, not the wick, because you can see the wick on this one matches the body or the opening of this red one. So just like this right here is kind of that zone that we're looking at for a secondary entry, okay? This is essentially what we're looking for in order for us to gain a pretty good position here. I know that we have something here, but if it's part of your plan, then you can do something like where you get long here a certain percentage, get long here a certain percentage, and your stop loss minus whatever percent you allow yourself to, and then you look at your top side targets. The top side target, you guys, is always, you always have to mind, first of all, where you're coming from, right? So meaning this area here. You're coming from this area, so that could naturally be the take profit zone, right? So if we don't reach this top side, you don't mark it right from that wick. You mark it from the lowest, closest vicinity, right? Like this. I'm going to show you, all right? This candle right over here, this wick, you see how it's slightly under the top side of the fall of that huge wick that we just printed today? That is how we do it, okay? We take it like that, and then you take it to that top side of the wick. This way you have a range to look out for. Okay, you don't want to do exact dollar values because you're just gonna screw yourself. Okay, you guys. So that now marks our most obvious area of take profit, right? Just because we already touched that. But just like always, guys, we need to take into consideration our pivots. Okay, just like these pivots right over here. Okay, you can see that this opening of this red candle, which is the body here, you can see that it has a lot to do with the closing of this red candle here. Okay, so that's an area that we can use, and then we mark it to the top of this wick right over here. Okay, so this is just how I plan it. All right, and this could be a take profit zone number 2. Okay, so or number 1, right, depending on which way you're looking at it, right? So let's just go ahead and kind of bring this all the way to the right, and this way you can see how that progression happens, right? So these would be the long entries. This would be the take profit zones, right? But in my personal opinion, I am very, very conservative when I trade, right? So I trade conservatively. So that means that my personal targets, and you'll see these in the Discord plays. You'll see it. I'll put it like this. Arca's range, right? So I'll put it like this without a border, and I'll let everybody know that this is usually or I'm looking for this target here in order for me to get long. Because if you're looking for targets here, then that means you're at the top side of every range. You don't want to do that. Okay, you don't want to look at the top side. Look to the left to see where the price action is in relevance to that, right? So in this case, if we do gain entry from where I said, let's see what the potentials are to take profit range number 1. That is a 41% gainer The top side of that first range is a 48%, and the top side gain is a 98 spot 10, followed by a 102% upside move. Okay, you guys, this is the way that I set up. When we have upside moves like this, then I would make this my swing play for the week. So if you have one, let's just put it like this. Okay, so you have one swing play, right? We're gonna kind of call this one swing like this, right? Let's just do this right here, and we're gonna label this. Where's my drawing tool, right? This is gonna be a swing play, right? You have one swing play that may have the potential to reach a whole period of 5 days, right? Let's just say that it's 5 days, but we want to close out in 2 or 3 days anyway, right? So this is passive income that you're getting, right? So that means that if it does reach the 102% all the way to the upside, right? That means that you have now 102% to the upside that you have made over the span of just a swing play. That means that your short-term plays, right? I'm talking about your scalps, your momentums per day, right? You have 4 other ones, right? You have 1, 2, 3, and 4 other days against one swing. If you face a loss on any one of these, you can remove it from your 102% that you gained. That means that you have literally, with passive income, made a system that is bulletproof. You will never lose if you can set up a very nice swing play or 2 or 3 for then. So then you could look at your short-term plays. Okay, you use the swing versus the short terms. Okay, so what do I think of PayPal? I'm not sure. I actually haven't even followed that one in just a bit. But guys, this is yeah, we can look at it too, okay, brother? So just know that this is essentially what I'm looking for. But tonight's play is in MVML, or what was it? MVLA, sorry. So MVLA is the ticker that I'm really interested in. Okay, you guys, but this one, guys, we have to wait a couple days to see if we can reach those bottom side targets. Remember, okay? Never forget your risk management, okay? Because I'm looking at an entry down here at about 585, I'm still going to practice somewhere around 5.5% to around 3.5% of stop loss, okay? Depending on where the price action is, right? So in this case, if this is the top side trend, then I want to see if I can surpass that just a little bit, but I can't. 7%. It's strict, guys. We don't want to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and leave it at maybe 5% just before that resistance touch, that previous resistance, right? So now you have your stop loss set, you have your ranges, you have your plan. That means that you're able to trade now securely. Because my son has such a crazy schedule, I will leave my buy orders in and they will stay there. And then I'll see when I wake up if it played out or if it didn't. The worst that can happen is that I lost 3.5 to 5%. That's the worst that can happen. All right, you guys, so this is what I'm looking at for ticker symbol GCT. Thank you, Mark, for sharing this with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at someone else's ticker, right? So you guys, I know that I got Bad R actually asking me for GME. Let me just go ahead and give that a quick look because I could, right? So ticker symbol, yeah, so Rob Zombie, I actually put up dedicated video for that, and I don't know if you've been following my analysis, right? But the last 2 days have been actually shot exactly to the penny from our forecast. So the Arca systems is actually looking very good, right? So now Batter, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at your ticker, my dude. Let's just give it a quick gander. You know, these tickers are really you know, psychologically impaired, right? So because they had a nice upside, they have a lot of bag holders in them. That means that there's a huge amount of psychology within them. So Aiden Dave is saying that's smart because you stick to your plan and no matter what, because you don't even look at the play. Yeah, actually that's kind of what I eventually made myself into. I made myself numb to the trade in respect to my son's schedule, so I just never ever look at it. I don't care, and I actually don't even look at my P&L either. I just want to be right. I just want the analysis to be right. Right, and when you're focusing on that, then that, you know, is something that you look forward to. You look forward to the puzzle being solved instead of the P&L growing, because once you reach a certain level, you know, this is actually something that, you know, Aiden, you know, from week 1 in the master's course, I expressed to you guys that it's critically important that we literally detach from money here, okay? Because this is just like any other craft that you become really good at. You need to make sure that detach yourself from money, because it's not about that. It's about the puzzle. It's about the craft. It's about, like, how good are you as a mechanic? How good are you as a swimmer? How good are you as a chess player, right? So all of those strategies, all of that process, all of that attention that you did to become good at whatever your hobby is, you never got paid for it. So you should treat this the same way. Because the best of the best traders that I know, including my mentors, like, they also they don't look at it for the financial aspect. No, I mean, I get it. We're in this because of money. It's true. But once you realize that there's a love for it, then you're gonna be versing yourself against people who also love it. All right, my dude. So now Destiny saying I'm a bag holder of GME and AMC. So this is pretty good that we're looking at it, right? So let's just give it a quick gander and see what it has for us, right? So let's see in the 12-hour time frame. Actually, I want to look just like always, right? The daily or the 12-hour, just in case we're curious over the traditional market close versus the after hours market, right? So Mark Roach saying rule 1, don't move money. Rule 2, refer back to the rule 1. Exactly, my dude. Exactly. And it's an awesome thing, guys. It's a very powerful thing to trade, right? Because this can really change the lifestyle of someone, man. And this is all I do. This is really how I take care of my family. This is it. This is it. Right? So, very curious formation actually happening here, as I do see regression on both ends. This is an ascending channel, which in essence, it is a bearish formation, but it's very, very unclear, right? So, and I want to just see how close I can get to some type of accuracy here, right? So something like this here, right? I'm gonna try a couple ways. Yeah, man, I was afraid of that. I was afraid of these two connecting here, right? So it shows bearish price action, right? So another thing we can do is favor this very tiny wick right over here, right? So we want to see if we can actually connect that and see if that can lead to further dots or further contact points, right? Just like, let's see if it does, right? If it doesn't do it, then we're just going to have to favor the other side. In fact, yes, let's just go ahead and go back just the way we had it, right? Just like this. This is kind of what I'm looking at here, you guys. This is let's count it. This is an ABCD strategy. Okay, so the ABCD strategy is absolutely one of the most common strategies looked at in the trade, right? So this was very, very clearly the starting, right? So X marks the ABCD strategy. Okay, so A, we have the take profit right down here at B, right? Just right down there, right? Then you have your C, which was the further take profit, and D. Okay, so now, if we're going to be favoring the golden rule of 3, so what could that be? We have, this could actually be tested in a 3-day time frame too. There we go. Okay, so we have test number 1 and test number 2. The price action looks overall bullish, and it could continue on to the upside to around 28.04. But that's highly dependent on the markets too. Okay, because let's just go ahead and do this. So Monster Mike saying, hi Arca, what percentage of portfolio do you trade per trade versus swing trade? So I trade actually, let's just say that there was like a $10,000 account, right? I'm not trading the $10,000. For a day trade, I'm looking for a day trade, depends on the conviction too, right? It's all really conditional, because what if there's a good news catalyst alongside volatility, alongside momentum, and alongside critical psychological supports, right? So that tends to turn into an A+ trade, right? So I don't think you should be asking me what the percentage is. I think you should be asking me what the rating system would be. Because if I trade any trade, swing or day trade, that has an A+ rating, then I will be very aggressive, and I will go 75 to 80%, maybe even 65% on A+ trades, right? So if we were looking at, say, for example, a play that doesn't have that much conviction, but also has the potential to gain some getting some good gains for the next day, a general trade would actually be around 30% or 40% portfolio. But I want to always leave. I want to always leave that same kind of. I want to leave a good amount of pillow room in case I do have a passive gainer, right? Like the swing play. So if I do notice a swing play that has a really high potential, I want to have enough. I want to have enough pillow room there, financially speaking, on the portfolio. I want to have enough liquidity so that I can enter that passive trade and still have maybe 70% portfolio or 60% portfolio to use on day trades, right? So in that case, it depends to how many swing trades you find during the week. I try to find them hopefully on Monday so I can get in on Tuesday, right? So you don't want to trade Mondays, okay? Don't trade Mondays, okay? Mondays are usually the day that everybody, let's put it like this, okay? Let's put it like this. You go through the weekend, right? Especially if you end green on a Friday, right? So you end your Friday green. Obviously the equities and traditional markets are closed over the weekend, right? So the weekend comes in and you're bullish, right? You're feeling yourself, I'm going to do my homework right now. I'm going to read a bunch of stuff. I'm going to kind of strategize here and make sure that I can solidify my strategy and put it to work come Monday. Right, so you're at that moment, you're already psyching yourself into longing a trade. So you're already thinking that the upside equals money. But a lot of the times, professional traders would look at Monday as like all of these bulls come in on Monday, but you just use them as liquidity. So then the short bias traders would take advantage of the Monday, and then the price action goes entirely against you because it was a bull trap. Right, so don't trade Mondays. Okay, so this means that you have 4 days in reality, and in those 4 days, just a couple of hours within every single trading day that would give you that actual opportunity to gain in the markets. Right, so it's entirely dependent, but know for a fact that if I'm using A+ trades, swing or short term, I'm talking about scalp, momentum, or day versus swing, they will all have a 70, I would say 65 to 85% portfolio just because of the catalyst, because of the psychology, because of you can become a broke professional trader if you don't take advantage of your A+ trades, right? So if you can't identify your A+ trades, then you're going to miss out on opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and you'll never really grow your portfolio, right? So it's important to take the higher risk, but to make sure that you're practicing your risk management alongside that too. So the worst that can happen is that you lose a 5% trade, but the 5%, 20% portfolio, right? So 5% loss versus 20% portfolio obviously is going to be a lot greater than your 5% loss, 80% portfolio, right? But that's something that you have to be willing to make a decision to as a professional trader or as a trader in general. Right, just know that, like, for example, you can say this, well, this has the catalyst, this has the psychology, but it doesn't have the technicals quite there yet. So that means that in your system, you're already missing a couple rules. You're not trading 75%. You're not trading 60 or 80. You're trading 20 or 30 or 40, depending on where your conviction is, right? So from that moment, you'll be able to gauge your risk versus reward. So you can say, I'm willing to lose $100 to gain 800 here, right? So, or I'm willing to lose 500 to gain 4,000 here, right? So that's something that you have to kind of iterate within yourself, to tell yourself and really make a conscious decision. And that's how you can gain and gain and gain and continue at it and be consistent at it. Who cares that you get multiple stop losses? Who cares that you get stopped out a lot? That is something that professional traders often praise. I praise that. I praise to see that you got stopped out a lot. The reason why is because you are controlling your stop at minimal stops. But when you win, you will likely take over all of those plus more in one game. So it's just control it, guys. Control it. You have to be creative here. Okay, just like you are being creative at your craft, be creative here on this craft too. Okay, so the upside here on GME looks we're at the mean band right now. Actually, I'm curious over the Gaussian channel too. So this is likely why we found that resistance today. Okay, so let's see if the buy daily has a break upside of that mean. So let's see. It does. Okay, so we have a resistance coming up. Okay, so if you're looking to kind of day trade GME, this is what would be expected. Okay, a jump to resistance between the area of 2438 to 2446 likely tomorrow. This would likely come back to our current highs to validate as an area of resistance or support, before a continuation. The 3-day time frame is suggesting that resistance touch, but we're already knocking at that door. Okay, so this usually means that there could be a succession upside of this, right? We face that $24, $25 target. We come back down to validate the 3-day support level of the mean band before a continuation to the upside. A week down the line, depending on the markets. It depends on the SPY. But remember, I'm looking at the SPY as bearish right now. Okay, so if GME is going to run against the SPY, then I guess that's its own deal, right? But I noticed that GME and AMC also have kind of some relation to the broader markets, right? So let's just see how it's been moving against that, right? So yeah, so I mean, you can see here clearly that we're kind of making a similar move, right? So there is a little bit of an inversion here. Oh man, and it's very minimal. Let me see. Jeez, I mean, it's following it pretty nicely. I mean, I would honestly look at the broader markets before knowing this, right? But if the broader markets are able to make the upside that I'm talking about first before the capitulation, by the end of the week, very likely GME could be testing the top side of about 25.13 to, I'd say, 27.13 before a pullback, right? So upside of the 27.13 would be 28.13, and that would be my absolute top side before facing a serious capitulation. Why serious? Okay, because it's going to be test number 2. Okay, test number 2 of the waves. We have test number 1 here, test number 2. You usually get this type of move, right? You get the test number 3 right up here, just like this. Test number 3 usually, I'm sorry, test number 2, right? We come right back down all the way to the bottom side area of about $20, right? And then from there, you can actually make the top side move. This test right here is going to be the test of will. And why do I say that? My students know that it's test number 3 before the capitulation. Okay, so test number 3 on an ascending channel usually means a break of the bottom side support, validation before a continuation. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at for the next couple weeks for GME. Be very, very careful with what you're looking at here. You may actually see a continuation to the upside over the next few days to around $28, 27 to 28. Will reverse back all the way to $20, which is very interesting because it is in line with the broader markets and literally what I'm saying, what the SPY is going to do over the next days too. Okay, so we'll face that rejection and then come back up to slightly higher highs. And this test number 3, that would either break upside and validate this as support before a continuation, or test number 3 would realize the way it naturally does and break below, validate, and continuation. Okay, and that bottom side target, you can figure it out like this. Okay, you just take a trend line from the top side all the way to the bottom side just like this, apply it to the breakout zone, which could be around here, and that gives you a target of about 1503, which is just confluent with the low of 1541. So it's already curious that it would have that, right? Nonetheless, it still would be a macro higher low, right? So what I mean by that is actually that the price action is currently sitting here. Sorry about that. Let me just bring that back up. Price action is sitting right over here, making these series of higher highs and higher lows, right? So, but in retrospect, you can see that we've been making kind of like some macro moves here to the upside, right? So I can't tell if this is, I can't tell what it's going to do beyond these points, guys, but I am seeing a topside target of around 27 to 28. I hope that helps. Okay, you guys, Monster Mike, I don't believe you, man. Thank you so much. You didn't have to, my brother. Yeah, you know what? There have been so many people asking me about the freaking BBBYQ. Let's look at it, guys. I'm sorry. I know. I only come back to that ticker when there's like something set up. Because I know that it has crazy volatility, right? So, oh, you know what? I actually was looking into something. I was looking into a ticker called the... if I have any masters of the OTC realm here, Do you know what the DYO is? The ticker symbol DYO? It's the I think it's called the Intellidex OTC. I've been noticing that there has been some pretty nice correlation between the OTC broader and against that ticker, right? So let me bring it up real quick and show you, right? So the DYO, the dynamic OTC Intellidex, right? So just like this, okay? So let me get rid of a few things here. So now that we know that there is kind of a, well, this is, you know, OTC now. Oh, curious. Okay, so price action on BBBYQ is actually inverse to that until recently. Please notice, please notice right over here that we're starting to get that upside pivot on that on the index, right? That DYO index, and we absolutely are getting that uptick as well on the BBBYQ. So saying, my bad, Arca, I got finals to study but I appreciate the time straight with this. Yeah, my brother, please, of course, take care of homework. Make sure to tend to family and tend to your studies. Okay, my dude, I will always be here for you. So just when you're ready, you come back. Okay, I appreciate you stopping by and saying hello though. Chino Butt was saying, yes, I know, bro. I know. I saw you too. I saw your comment saying BBBYQ, please, brother. So I'm trying to cover it here just to see if we could gain an edge over it, right? So I just want to show what I kind of found here, and I'm noticing that not a lot of people know about this Intellidex DYO ticker. And it shows massive correlation against the OTC markets in general, right? I know we have the OTC M or N, the OTC DQ, or I forgot what it was, right, for tickers that are built under that. But yeah, this is kind of giving me an edge too. So I noticed on the BBBYQ that there is a descending broadening wedge, of which could be breaking out now. Let me look at the buy daily against the 12-hour though. Actually, I think it was. Oh man, let me look at the 12-hour here. This could be very bullish right now, you guys. So yeah, it could be 1, 2. No, don't tell me that's test number 3. There's no way that can be test 3. Let's look at the 8-hour. Let's see. Okay. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So it is the 8-hour. You'll likely identify, guys. I cover so many freaking tickers all the time. Even like when I'm on Twitter space calls, guys, there's guys over there just saying, "Can you cover this ticker, this ticker, this ticker, this ticker?" You know, and all the things that I teach is like I just have to kind of have that in my brain the moment that you say it, right? But guys, this is absolutely bullish for BBBYQ as it is breaking outside of this broadening descending wedge. This formation is known to be now, actually, as of 2021, actually. It used to be a bearish formation. But now this formation has changed its narrative entirely, okay? So I'm not saying that we're just going to go all the way up here, but I want to just kind of point it out. Okay, per the traditional trading rules, per the playbook rules of how to trade this ticker, right? So, I'm sorry, this ticker, this formation, the take profit zone would essentially be at the genesis of the formation itself. So 164, it would be right around here, okay? So that's not bad. So now Destiny, you're saying, let's see, BBYQ support at 1471, resistance at 2351, breakout 2896. 2896 is, you're very close to my resistance level here. Okay, so that's very impressive. That's good, Destiny. Absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. My breakout is actually set to 2798, and it's only in respects to a few candles that have absolute a correlation, right? So another thing that we can do is to take a short-term fib to see if that kind of matches our targets too, right? So just like this on the 8-hour time frame, let's see what that kind of rhymes with, right? So the top side of this target here is right below the 4-spot 236, and of course we're finding resistance right from the 3-spot 618 as we speak. Okay, so that's good. That's good. The only thing I'm not liking, guys, is that we are getting these top side wicks. It's normal for a key resistance. I get that. All right, I get it. But I want you to also know that this is usually how you start printing a 3 black crows formation, okay? And this can lead to a downside, but that doesn't mean that the downside would be kind of the end of this asset. It would only mean that we faced a resistance and we naturally have to pull back to kind of get some more bulls in line. First of all, notice these 2 top wicks right over here in line with the fib over there. That's the 2-spot 618 at 2367, right? Very important target already. So that means that we can take from 2367, right, a box, and we'll take it to the bottom side of this range before that huge uplift, because this will likely serve as an area of resistance, right? So just like this can be our pullback zone. I'm already saying pullback because of what I'm seeing. I haven't even looked at the indicators. I haven't looked at anything other than just the price action. I can see that this could be the area where we pull back to, right? So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis. Let me get rid of the DYO and get rid of the SPY here because it's taking up too much room. Okay, so now let's go ahead and pull up some moving averages to see if we're finding resistance right now on the 8-hour or at least even on the daily, right? So nothing here on the 8-hour. Let's go back to the 12-hour and see if we have the SMA 100 around there, right? So in fact, okay, are we going to load them or not? Let's load. There we go. So SMA 100 still a bit further away. Let's go to the 5-day to see if we have anything around there. Okay, so I hope that wouldn't be the case. The EMA 7 on the 5-day located at 3202. Probably. Hold on. Those are not the only metrics we look at, though. Okay, you guys, we have to look at several things. Okay, so now the bi-daily EMA 20 located at 39. Wow, that is perfectly set up to that. Let me see a fib to see if actually that matches, right? Just like this here, that would be in line with the 2-spot 272 perfectly at 39, and also here. So this candle here has a high. Let's see up there. That's 39.57 high. 39.57, 39.45, and also this resistance at 39.64. That's a huge resistance. Oh my goodness. Okay, and also there is a massive gap here that we already took into note, right? So this is why we have that resistance top there. Okay, so if there is going to be a resistance to be faced, guys, there could be a continuation to the upside in the next day or two. 27.99 or 28 cents before a pullback to validate our not 618 range that we were just talking about. Okay, so remember, this is a whole different fib now. Okay, so please notice here that my discretionary area of pullback is already located at the golden mean. Okay, so if we're going to face the 0.5, so be it. But the one that I'm looking at primarily is the 618 at 2360. That could be a nice reaccumulation phase. Another thing to also keep in mind here is that while it does kind of resemble you don't want to see hammer candles at the top side, right? After an uptrend, this would usually introduce a downside or a reversal of sorts. But in this case, we kind of want that retracement, because why? Why in the hell would Arca say that we want that retracement? So this is the next thing. Notice how the bars kind of click. You see the clicks? It just goes click, click, click. That means that that's where the next candle is going to be, right? So now let's go ahead and look at the next candle. Why am I looking at the next candle? First of all, 14 hours and 42 minutes, this bi-daily candle will close. And it's going to close in a pretty bullish stance, meaning that this could be a validation to a continuation to the upside. But if it doesn't close upside of this range here, about 24.11, then there is some downside to look at. But even if this does close upside of this 24.11, we still have a downside to look out for, okay? And why? So let's notch over to the next candle here, and if we just move on down, just like this, right? Just like this. Notice how the bottom side of the 0.5 is confluent with our newly converted resistance of the broadening descending wedge, resistance into support, right? So that's how we get that validation. We need to make sure that we can validate our newly converted resistance of the broadening descending wedge into support before a continuation to the upside. That's another reason why we can see a little bit of a downside coming in the immediate short term. Okay, so now let's validate. Let's see if we got that validation, or let's see if our thesis is right. We're going to get a short-term upside followed by a continuation to the downside around the 5 fib, maybe even fail it just ever so slightly to come back and test that area of a newly converted resistance into support, which, by the way, the EMA 7 and 9 period are located right there too. Okay, so these two very dim lines right over here. I know that it's hard to see them, right? So let's just go ahead and kind of see this. It's the 9 and 7 period. You have to color your moving averages the way you will always identify them. Okay, you guys make sure to always have them in a color that you know, that only you know. It doesn't matter. Okay. So there you go. This would be these two moving averages essentially making their trek to the upside, while this makes its trek to the upside. Resistance faced. We come back down, validate this support, validate the 0.618 and the 0.5. You have two moving averages. Awesome area to bounce. So, and then continue to the upside, right? So let's validate the upside followed by downside thesis that we have with our indicators, okay? Let's start off with the immediate short-term time frame, just like we always do. This is going to be the 30-minute BBBYQ. Let's see what's up, okay? So, where is the RSI? Come on, guys. Come on. Load it. There we go. Oh, right. So I actually would have a better view for you now on my RSI. I just made an update on it. So I just wanted to give the colors a bit more meaning, right? So this would be your bullish control zone. This is your bearish control zone. And the inner workings is just the weakness percentile of either, right? So this would be your bull weakness and your bear weakness, right? So this is just regular RSI, SMA 14, right? The 14-day simple moving average and your RSI signal. Okay, you guys. So let's look at the potential. Okay, so we have an upside pivot here. We can face the resistance from the SMA 14, validating what we're talking about already. Okay, so upside first, then resistance. Let's see the bi-hourly time frame. So bi-hourly time frame, there we go. So, okay, it's very close, actually. It still has an upside pivot, which means this can move slightly to the upside, but still get pulled to the downside by the gravitational pull zone of the overbought percentile. In that case, if it does get pulled right back down, we have the SMA 14 as support, suggesting what we're already talking about, right? The short-term upside, followed by a short-term downside to reaccumulate, followed by a continuation. Right, let's go ahead and continue to the 6 hour and see what we have. Okay, so the 6 hour time frame in that gravitational zone as well. It doesn't have, the RSI signal does not have that upside pivot, right? So we could very likely face just an ever so slightly upside, find that resistance from the top side of the gravitation. We come back down, we validate using the SMA 14. Again, upside versus downside first. Okay, so then let's go to the 12 hour and see what we have there. All right, so 12 hours should be pivoted towards the upside. Come on, man, show me. Okay, so we have the 12 hour getting very close to the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile, which means we can get pulled up. Okay, let's see the daily. It should be upside. There we go. The bi-daily should also be upside. Nice. Okay, and in the gravitational zone of the bear strength, that means upside too. And 3 days should be upside too. Perfect. All right, so yeah, that's what we're looking for, guys. We're looking for that downside first, followed by, we're looking for that upside, slight upside first, followed by the reaccumulation downside, and then we could move on to the upside, okay? So let's just go ahead and see what we have, okay? So let's just, one more time, let me make sure that we could actually face a man, look at this. Yeah, so we have the stochastic momentum at critically overbought already. So this could very well show, let me make this big for you, okay? See how it's correcting? But it's overbought, right? So we can get an upside, a very slight upside, then start correcting to the downside. Another indication to that is this, the volatility. Volatility, think about it like this, okay? Volatility is representing how much volume or how many trades are being traded. Okay, so if we do have an upside to look for here, we would already see it with a pretty substantial upside pivot, but it's weakening. That means that less shares are being traded momentarily. And this is also in the 4 hour time frame, so it's pretty short term. Okay, so again, upside pivot on the 2 hour, meaning that we have an upside pivot on the hourly too, right? With a little bit of weakness. Let's see the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame suggesting that downside. Okay, you guys, so we have a very limited upside followed by a downside, and then we reaccumulate and make our trek to the upside. Okay, you guys, so starting in the 12, let's see the daily time frame, I think. Yep, daily time frame right here. Contraction versus upside pivot, very convincing on the daily. It should be similar on the bi-daily. Upside pivot on both the EMA 3 and the SMA 14. Contraction starting. These are all statistical plays, guys. This is very cool. All right, and upside pivot on that 3-day as well, starting to contract. There's still upside to look for. Now remember that this is heavily influenced by psychology too. Okay, so anything that I say here could actually be invalidated at any moment, but this is typically how these plays play out. The way I explained it is the way that I would play it. Okay, you guys, so that's pretty much what I'm looking at for BBBYQO. I hope that I was able to answer that correctly for you guys, okay? So now, David, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Where have I been, man? That has been the golden question here. My son having a very difficult time, right? So I'm sure you know that I give him iron supplements, right, because of his iron deficiency, right? So that actually constipates my toddler, right? He's 3 years old. So it actually backs him up a lot, and it backed him up so much to the point to where he was actually letting go of tiny little bits during his sleep. And that started to create a huge rash on him, right? So that would often interrupt his sleep throughout the night. So when I was trying to get him back to normal, I was already kind of exploring the 12 o'clock streams, 12 p.m., 11 a.m. streams, right? But he started getting that little thing happening, and that then, here I am. So I think he's back to normal today, though, literally today, right? He took his first normal stool, so I hope that this can last, right? So I'm gonna try to aggressively bring him back to his schedule, right? So now, David, in respects to you, I'm sure you want to know about VOCL, right, my dude? I know I haven't released a thing in a while, right? So VOCL. Still, the monthly time frames, I'm looking at the macros here because those are really the ones that matter, right? So we have diminishing bear pressure here, right? We also are getting very close to crossing that MACD line, which means that we can actually get an upside soon, but relative to a monthly time frame, right? So if we're looking at shorter time frames, I don't know if you remember in the video, hold on. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed from the video that I actually put out a few days ago that this is that channel that we're kind of riding. Now, what's good about this is that this channel is bullish. Okay, so descending channels equal upside. And the longer we're down here, validating this bottom side support of this channel, the better. Okay, that means that we're creating a space. We're creating a very thick inflection point for the future. Right, similar to what COSM is doing, just creating this bottom side, right? So this would be essentially that new inflection point to look out for the future. So just in case price action catapults to 11 cents and it comes back, it would be very difficult to kind of combat this entire area, actually, right? Because we've been sitting in it for quite some time. All this can be considered as reaccumulation. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, see what we have. And also the other thing to notice here, we're still testing the mean band on the annual the Gaussian channel. Just like we did this whole year right here, this entire year candle, we tested right perfectly in that, and we're sitting, I mean, it is a little risky, right? Because we're sitting right at it. And also, I mean, the thing is that if it does kind of penetrate towards the downside, it's still okay, because the thing is that we have 7 months and 5 days to finish this candle here, which means that in all honesty, we would need a year's candle closure below the area of 5 cents to validate a continuation to the downside, right? So it's very conditional, the downside that we're looking at. Now, this is the other bullish formation that I saw on the weekly time frame, right? So my master students know, they're all here. A lot of them are here, right? So they know test number 3 is the golden rule of 3, right? Meaning that after 3 tests of the resistance, number 3 is usually the one to capitulate the hardest, to shake out the longs. But once you start finding that bottom side, that's essentially that zone where we can start looking at a potential reaccumulation here, right? Because this was one of the biggest distributions I've seen in a while. I understand that Created and GTII had that falling out and everything, right? But it's just, damn, this was seriously a huge distribution here, right? So what we want to be aware of here are these things. Okay, first of all, yes, we have 1 day and 15 hours to close this weekly candle. And if we do close this weekly candle upside of this previous weekly candle bottom, which is at 562, that would be a bullish statement, right? That would be a bullish statement from VOCL, meaning that it can continue, not upside, but it could continue reaccumulating here. So even if it does 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks of consolidation within this area here, again, it would make a very very interesting inflection point. And also, it would prevent us from falling down to the absolute bottom demand target of 447, located right over here, something that we reached on October 2022. Right, so this is it. Whatever's happening here is kind of showing that the bulls are really not selling anymore. Right, and also the fact that we're consolidating is also showing that the shorts are also not covering, but not shorting any deeper. But if they are shorting, of course, it's going to be in the immediate short-term time frame, and that's why you see the ebb and flow going up and down, right? But in relevance to the upper time frames, that's it's very important that we do maintain the current stance, right? The current price. Now, let me look at the Gaussian channel, because I know that that's something I actually haven't looked at on the shorter time frames. Let's see. I guess we can touch on this real quick, right? So we have immediate short-term time frame upside, but it's just more consolidation as you start reaching the time frames of the 8-hour and the daily. You see right here that we have an upside suggestion here, but that upside is facing a resistance of the SMA 14 alongside the gravitational zone, very likely to find a downside from there, and then a support from the gravitational zone and bouncing in and out just like it's been doing, right? Another thing here is that the daily is suggesting a downside, but it's this is teeth grinding consolidation. It's really not suggesting too much else other than the fact that we can be on a very, very, very slight, slow decline in a macro perspective, which we already know. We already know that range. We already have that range, right? So anywhere between the area of about 561 to about 629 could be the entire range. Now, what is that range exactly? Let's measure it. So from this bottom side, you're looking at about 12%, 12.21% range that we could be stuck in for a bit. So what I'm trying to say here, in essence, David, is that if we don't have a catalyst or some type of fundamental something lined up for this, then we could be in this period for a while. What's good here is this. Please notice that the volume profile is you have volume diminishing as the price action is diminishing too. That usually is a pretty bullish statement too, right? Meaning that the downside pressure is kind of diminishing. So that's it for VOCL. That's what I'm kind of looking at here, right? So guys, let's go ahead and just look at the scan. If you guys are curious to see how I scan for tickers, let's go ahead and just get that done right now, right? So we're going to see if we can find another play aside from the one that Sebastian Lim talked about earlier, which is very powerful. It was that MVLA ticker, right? So let's go ahead and kind of get that in. Let's pull up our scanner and see what we can pull off, right? So this is and mind you, I'm very, very simple when it comes to this. TradingView has all these built-in things like crazy, right? So David saying you're a good man. Hope the little boy feels better. I hope so too, David. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you were able to show up here and to give you an analysis on that, right? So, guys, remember that these are all the things that come up stock for TradingView's the filters. These are just built-in filters, but if you are curious, this thing has all these. You can really get as detailed as you want for scanning for movers, daily movers, swing plays, literally whatever you want, right? But I am very simple with this. Remove your awesome oscillator, remove the commodity channel index, remove the MACDs, remove the momentum, remove the oscillator rating, remove stochastic, right? And from here, I would just add one more. Price. I just want to know what it costs. right? So let's go ahead and start scanning for something, right? So this is, you guys can take a screenshot of this, right? You'll be able to see the settings, right? So ADX is the average directional index. Okay, you guys, that's where I want to see a strong trending market. That's what it allows you to see, right? So if I can do this on a crossing up basis, meaning crossing above a certain range, meaning that if we are crossing above 25%, then that should look pretty good. Right now, the ATR, this is a volatility read. That's the average true range over a 14-day closing period. That means that how much is the asset moving throughout the last 14 days on a closing basis. I want at least 90 cents. So 0.90, I add that in there. It adds it to the metrics, filters it out a little more. Now let's go to the RSI. Okay, so the RSI, I am not partial to crossing up. I would like this to be above or equal to 30%, which is the oversold border. Right, so from there, that's good. And now, man, what happened here? It didn't actually read it. Let's do it one more time. Let's do 30, tab, and let's see if it gets it in. There we go. All right, and now the price, yes, of course, you know, we don't want too expensive of things, but from here, this is the metric that I look for. And now I realize that we're actually not looking at it on the master channel itself, which I hate, and I should have done in the first place, right? The master layout, right? But from here, you guys, I start looking at, let me just add my freaking RSI into this too. I'm doing it on the VOCL 6-hour edit, right? This is actually a saved edit that I have. I don't want to do it on this. Okay, so yeah, so let's go ahead and continue. This is one that I would consider. Sure, whatever. Let's look at it. So I always start with the 4-hour time frame. Why do I start with the 4 hour? Is because I want to see if hopefully we have an upside pivot with volatility. Oh, I'm sorry, with momentum, with a critical read on volatility, right? So we have the critical read, but we have a downside pivot here, so I don't like it. All right, let's go down to the next ticker and see what we have. And this is what I do, guys. I really just look at it like this, right? So 4-hour time frame suggesting an upside pivot from critical. Okay, upside pivot on the RSI as well. But the only thing I don't like is that we're currently at the oversold border, overbought border, right? So the bi-hourly and the 30-minute and hourly should actually have a little bit of an upside bias too. Let me see the 6-hour and the 8-hour. Oh, these are all a little bit too frothy, right? We don't want this to be all the way up here, guys. That's already too overbought. We want to make sure that we can get it somewhere down here, right? So at least entering the bullish control zone first, right? We want to see if we can get that upside pivot here, entering the bullish control. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another ticker here and see what we have. This is, let's see, ticker symbol AIMD. Let's go back to the 4-hour and see what it's got, right? So 4-hour, nice. There we go. Okay, this is looking okay. I don't care that we have a downside pivot on the RSI. That's fine. I want to see the bias to the upside, critical volatility, whether it's at contraction or expansion, okay? So now, let's go to the 30-minute. We want a downside. All right, so downside on the 30-minute is likely, right? This can give us an area for us to be able to get long. Okay, so critical volatility here, expanding, meaning that we're getting more shares traded. Okay, let's go to the bi-hourly and see what we have. We have that upside pivot here, starting on the bi-hourly, okay, and critical volatility too. The 4-hour we already saw, so let's go to the 6-hour. Nice, okay, upside pivot on the 6-hour is starting to cascade into each other. Okay, so now I want to see where the RSI is going to suggest that bottom side though. Okay, so as all of the time frames are suggesting a downside here, very likely the buy daily is going to have the support of the SMA 14. Upside pivot on that 8-hour critical volatility, very nice. Okay, we're catching it early here. Okay, so let's see the 12-hour upside pivot, critical volatility, nice. And okay, here it sort of is. Let's see the buy daily and okay, hold on. Let's see. We have resistance and a downside. Okay, so this can show us that there could be a very limited upside on this because we do have the daily time frame SMA 14 located right above us. Okay, so let me see what the price action is doing in the first place, right? So yeah, it's actually reaccumulating on a descending channel. That is a bullish formation. It is suggesting an upside, right? So let me go ahead and pull up. Since I don't have it here, right? It's not my master layout. Let me go ahead and pull up the reversion variant or the reversion variant can do it. Let's do that, right? So yeah, downside it's suggesting here on the daily. So downside to the area of about 64.32. 64 cents, right? So 64.32, yeah, sure, it's very confluent actually with the top side of this gap right over here on the daily time frame. So that's very likely an area to kind of look at for loading, right? So just like this here, right? So this could be a very nice loading zone, right, before a continuation to the upside. So now if we're going to set up a secondary loading zone, because things can always fail, right, we can actually look at one more. And that would be, wow, oh wow. Okay, so I'm just going to have to favor it just like this here because there's so much confluence here with all these candle closures and resistances. This would be the secondary area, right? So, and then from here, since, you know, I'm a very conservative trader, I would very likely find an entry right at this zone at around 60.10, right? So from there, my stop loss, of course, remember, I'm not going to lose more than just that 5.5%, but I usually try to stick as close as I can to it, right? So, man, okay, so in this case, I would just favor probably about a 4.5% downside. I would like to take it down to here, but I'm not seeing price continue below this area here, unless it just wicks down and stops out, which could be a shakeout, right? So from that area here, we have that stop zone, 4.5% loss in case it does fail. The top side target, guys, it would be very obviously here at the mean of the daily at 75 cents. So let's measure that gainer, right? So from the entry zone that we're talking about, right down here, to that area of the mean, check it out, 25.13% to the upside, right? So very, very nice price action. Now, let's just say that you didn't want to actually wait that long to get there because this could potentially be a swing play to get to that target. Let's just say that you want to take it to an upper range, maybe where we are sitting right now, which could be the current lows at 67.10. Let's take a measurement from here to that area there. Okay, so let's do it like this. Right, and take it to that 67.10. That's an 11.39% gainer. That's a close for a day trade, guys. That's perfect. All right, so this is now another ticker that we're going to be adding to the list, right? So let's go ahead and add it here. We'll put it now. Yeah, you know what? I realized that I actually came back to this damn ticker here. Oh my goodness. All right, so AIMD looking pretty promising here, and in fact, I'm gonna have to put this together later, because I really need to get back to VOCL. My goodness, it literally latched every ticker to see these. When you color them like this, it'll connect them all together. So I want to make sure that I can get back to, because that was it, guys. That was essentially it for AIMD. And that's one that we're going to add to the list just so that we can have a watch list for tomorrow too, right? So far, let me go back to that ticker. What did you say it was? It was MVLA and now AIMD. Add to the list, guys. I'm gonna put it down here, right, for you guys. So hold on just a second. And also, we're gonna be adding VIRI into that list because yeah, I'm following that play. So MVLA, right? I'm gonna put it on the chat for you guys to copy. So, and now AIMD and ticker symbol VIRI, right? So here's the watch list that I'm going to be putting up in the Discord later on, guys. So that's I'm putting up daily watch list. I'm putting up a daily watch list in the Discord just in case you guys are curious over what I'm doing, right? So that's just for the community to know what I'm looking at for potential gainers over the week. Right, so guys, be strict over what you do. Be strict over how you look at the trade, right? You guys, so there we go. Back to VOCL. Now all of them connected. It sucks, guys. It sucks. Sometimes I really have to do this because damn it, right? So, David, if you're still here, man, the math is like a trader like me, right? It's systematic and short term. Scaling down is usually out of the question for me, right, and that's only unless it's something that I put together as I meant to do that, right? So, meaning that I'm not sure if the price action is gonna I'm not sure that the price action is gonna fail this zone here, right? So just in case it does fail it, then I have a secondary area to scale down. And then from that area, I will max it out as a third potential entry and never more than that. So from that third potential entry, minus 5.5% loss. And then from there, then I have an adjusted cost basis, right? But I understand that what you're doing here is that you believe in the company long term too, right? So as an investor, these short-term targets that I'm looking at like this shouldn't really matter, right? But what should matter is the upside probability in a macro perspective, right? So another thing to notice here too is that we could be at a consolidation period in the broader markets as well. Yes, I see downside and upside, but that's all within a natural ebb and flow. I'm not looking at capitulation just yet unless really the Fed gives us something to fear. In which case, OTCs, cryptocurrencies, bond markets, futures, forex, all that stuff would actually face the pressures of what the Fed said, right? But in my case, if I start averaging down, that kind of the math plays against you. All right, so I just need you to be careful with those things, okay? So, as it is a very personal question, okay. So I don't know. I know you have a substantial position too. So that even worries me more. Okay. So yeah, Sebastian Lim, what's up, man? Let's look at it, brother. So let's go ahead and put up the master layout this time around for real. so I don't ruin any of my saves here, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that, man. So you're looking at what? QBTS? Sure. Let's see. QBTS. And that's a D-Wave Quantum. Okay. All right. So already getting a nice parabolic move to the upside. We want to see if that continuation can be, right? So let me just make sure. Let's see what the opening versus closing of this candle is. So opening candle, 93.03. Closing, 93.07. Bullish engulfing. Okay, so we have a bullish engulfing 8-hour iteration here. I'm sure you didn't catch that. Did you catch it, Sebastian Lim? Be honest. Kick you. All right, so this is a bullish engulfing closure, very likely for price action to continue to the upside in a psychological perspective. Okay, I'm not speaking about anything else here. I'm speaking about psychology suggesting a continuation to the upside. And seeing that we're like in this weird like size here. Oh my goodness. What's up, Polo M? Not much, bro. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for coming by, man. You did? Liar. All right, I'm happy that you did catch it, brother. So yeah, we have a bullish engulfing located right over here, okay, you guys? So another thing to keep in mind here, let's see if in a shorter time frame, our volume profile, okay, because this matters. Okay, so this, I'm not liking what I'm seeing just based on this. Right, so declining volume, ascending price action, that's a bearish divergence, right? So that means that at any point we could actually find a resistance and pull back. Not to mention the fact that we actually are overbought and maxed out volatility in the 4-hour stochastic momentum versus volatility profile, right? So what I do like is that we do have a continuation to the upside on the MACD, and historically speaking, it does have some pretty substantial upside to even still face, right? So that's okay too, right? But let's look at the probabilities here. So bi-hourly time frame upside pivot, and likely the hourly too, right? So now going into the 30-minute time frame, I'm okay. Good. We have a little bit of a downside here. If you're already in, right, Sebastian? So let's see. $1 caught this. You caught this at $1. Okay, so you're 39 cents up. There's a gap on one. Okay, so yeah. You're talking about right over here. There's even a gap in the 30-minute at 96.82 to about 102. Right, so and this is actually a pretty interesting area to mark off because it has a lot to do with this candle, which was the shakeout. This was the liquidity shakeout before a continuation to the upside. So that's a very important zone to keep in mind. Okay, so this would be our bottom side support. Okay, the inflection point. Failing this here, starting to close 30-minute candles below the area of 96.48. Can lead to a continuation to the downside to the gap of 86.63 to about 80.81. Now, failing that, let me mark that, okay? Let me mark it like this, okay? So just like this and just like that. Failing this zone here, starting to close 30-minute candles below this zone, would then start to, this is a tiny little support. I wouldn't use this I would use this as a temporary support to test the resistance of here and then failure. Okay, so this would be your invalidation zone overall. Okay, your master invalidation zone and the temporary invalidation zone. Okay, so here you're going to face a temporary downside, resistance to that 81.94, capitulation all the way down to 64 cents. Okay, be very careful there. All right, you do not want to surpass that area. Set your stop 4% or trail it now. Okay, if you're 39% up, I mean, yeah, you're 39% up, right? Dude, why aren't you taking profit? Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, so let's go to the bi-hourly time frame, and we have an upside pivot, a very aggressive upside pivot on that MACD. Very nice setup here on the bi-hourly. I'm noticing that the 4 hour is already overextended though. So 6 hour has an upside pivot. 8 hour also has a diminishing pivot, but still upside. Okay, let's see the 12 hour. Okay, dude, you're gonna need to start kind of reevaluating your position here, okay? Because the time frames are bleeding to the downside. They're cascading to the downside here. The daily, the bi-daily, and the 3-day are suggesting massive upsides. That means that we're gonna get a capitulation first before a continuation. Okay, so very likely for this thing to come back down to the area of about 102. Okay, don't lose your gains. All right, so and also don't take this as financial advice, because what if I'm wrong? What if Arca sucks? What if he just takes you away from this potential 300% gainer? Who cares about the 300% gainer, man? Get your short-term profits, run away with your cash. All right, another thing to notice here, broadening descending wedge, 1, 2. Oh, dude. Wow. Okay, yeah, dude, there is serious things to look at here, man. Okay, this right over here. Please notice. Oh, this connects very well. Okay, just like this. And actually, I can favor this one right over here, even this one. Right, so yeah, this is essentially what I'm looking at here. Let me adjust it just a little more, just like that. Okay, I know I'm losing my voice here, right? So, this was, let me see, 1, 2, ooh, dude, this is, I'm not sure if that was a fake out or if it's an actual test, but it's looking like it may be an actual test as it is touching it. I'm going to favor it just because of how far the price action has gone. And this is changing the narrative, okay? So now we have test number 1, 2, 3, test number 4, true breakout. Okay, the topside target that I'm looking at for this is going to be located at $2.18, okay? But that's not to say that we are going there. I just want you to know that this is being traded on a 3-day time frame, okay? Let me go back to the daily, to the bi-daily and see if it's usable there too. Maybe, let me see the daily time frame. Maybe as well. Okay, so it doesn't always have to do this. Okay, it really does. Polo, dude, thank you so much, bro. That means so much, man. You really didn't have to. Thank you, my brother. That means so much to me and my family. So, Sebastian, dude, I'm telling you this, okay? We haven't come back to test our newly converted resistance into support. Okay, so that means that this price action has the potential to drop to 58 cents. Okay, so that's minus 50%. Okay, bro. So if it does reach that area, you do not want to face that, because this, if it does drop to this area, it's not going to affect the volatility or momentum of the 3-day. It's not going to do nothing to it. Okay, in fact, that actually may be the bounds, statistically speaking, that this thing can actually face a continuation to the upside all the way to $2, right? So this could be that the liquidity run, right? So we're going to shake out a bunch of people over here, gather a bunch of liquidity, capitulate this thing, validate the newly converted resistance into support, then a continuation to the upside. We'll be getting out first thing in the pre-market. Yeah, let me see the 30-minute momentum. Upside 30-minute. Okay, you're getting an upside immediately. Slight upside in the bi-hourly. Consolidation on the... Oh, maybe you don't have to do it immediately like that. There could be a continuation to another range. Okay, so I'm going to give you that range of real resistance here on the 6 hour. Okay, so let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and back it with fibs too. Okay, so let me favor this. Yeah, this is very confluent here. Okay, so from the from this candle here to, I would say, the top side of this wick over here. So 157 to 178. Okay, so that, I mean, I wouldn't test too much of that beyond 180. Okay, so Measuring this to the upside from the current position could be an additional 17%, bro. So just never be greedy. Never be over greedy when you're practicing your long trades. Okay, dude, your gains, bro, take them while they're there. Okay, so in this case, like for example here, if I reached 15% gain, I would have already taken out 20% position. Reaching 35% gain, I'll take out another 15% position. Reaching 30% gain, I'll take another 20% position, let my runners run. So because from there, I'm already heavily in the profit, right? So from there, if we can actually take the profit all the way to about an additional 17%, 158, I'm out completely. Despite this going to $2 or not, I don't care. I banked 50%. Okay, that's more than a day trader makes over the span of 4 days, bro. A lot of day traders close their positions for the day at 7%. Okay, so the key here is to be consistent. It is not for you to get the moonshot, the money shot every single time. Don't do that. Make sure to be consistently gaining your 10%ers, your 15%ers, your 17%ers. Get out. As soon as you have that, next play. Who cares? Don't marry the stock, my bro. Don't marry the stock or the play. Okay, just make sure to stick to your plan. But if your plan, I mean, dude, sometimes if your plan is suggesting just a moonshot, I guess that's good. Make sure to know why in the first place. Okay, so yeah, 50% gainer at the pre. My dude, that is amazing, my bro. Congratulations on this trade. But yeah, I still see that upside potentially moving anywhere between 17% to the upper side of about an additional 32%. Okay, so this is a very interesting setup because this can actually even be a short-term play too. But the only thing I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna refer this to the Discord members because it's already critically overbought. We never want to enter a trade when we're overbought. Okay, we want to enter the trade when we see the future of it. Okay, when we see the potential upside, that's when we want it. Okay, not when it's already there. So congratulations to you, my brother. Very, very awesome trade tactics here. Okay, so guys, it's already that time of the night. I'm gonna go ahead and update the watch list in the Discord. I'm gonna put up the play for ticker symbol MVLA. And we'll see what's up. So Polo M saying, pay my dues, just coming in. Let's chat later, early in the morning. Yeah, dude, please come by, say hi. I don't care if it's on Discord DMs, whatever it is, my brother. Please say hi. But I'm very grateful for you coming in, dude. And yeah, Sebastian Lim, my moderators, Mark Roach, you guys are awesome. So now, David, have a good night, guys. So Chino, Bo, have a good night. Aiden Davis, I know you already said good night, right? Destiny, I hope you're still here. Have a very good night. All right, so say have a good night to you too, okay, guys? So I really much appreciate everybody for coming by. We'll continue trying to get these live streams in, right? But for now, guys, I wish you all very well. I wish you all a very, very good night. And I will catch you at the bell. Mañana, 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 mañana. Good night to you, Mark. See you, guys.